Good afternoon and welcome to this hour's News Hour. My name is Samuel Castle. Coming up in this edition of News Hour, United Democratic Movement UDM says the SLPP, that is the Sierra Leone People's Party issue, would not have gone to the Supreme Court. With this one, following the Supreme Court's ruling slamming an interim injunction on opposition SLPP March 5th convention, there have been reactions from many quarters. The latest is coming from the newly formed United Democratic Movement, UDM. The movement says the decision of the Supreme Court must be respected, whilst also opining that it should have been addressed by the Political Parties Registration Commission, PPRC. Mohammed Bangura is interim leader of UDM, and he is here with us in the studios. Welcome to News Hour, Mr.
Thank
Bangura.
you very much, Bert.
Now, what are your point? You are saying that the matter couldn't have gone to court, meaning it should have been settled within party?
Yeah, we are saying here, based on the argument which was put forward in the court by the Sierra Leone People's Party defense lawyer, that the Boubacar Jabi best place should have been the PPRC. And Boubacar Jabi, in his response, produced a document, a letter which he wrote to PPRC many weeks ago, complaining this matter. But the PPRC has never responded to them. So as a movement, we sat and decided that this is a political issue that we have to make a position, coupled with other things. So we went to PPRC to actually find out from them why they do not allow the two parties to sit and talk with them. There we discovered that the PPRC is what will I say, do not have the foundations to function as a political party registration commission, for simple reason that the lifespan of the commissioners has long expired since last year. So at the moment, there is nobody there to look at issues of political parties.
Interesting that the lifespan of the commissioners of the PPRC came to an end some time ago. So the thing is, what are you calling on the powers that be to do for the PPRC?
First of all, the Political Party Registration Commission is a very important component in our democratic process. So for the government to sit and wait until up to this point, we do not have, or the commission has not have a fully constituted body to look into the affairs of political party is something that we are calling up with the attention of the government. We have been a victim already. We have put together documentation to transform our movement to a political party. Based on the 1991 Constitution, we of Sierra Leone and the PPRC Act, we have fulfilled our own constitutional obligation. That is to submit documentation for registration. And according to the Act, it's specific that 60 days you should be able to know if you are going to be given the opportunity to operate as a political party or not. We have submitted our document. This week will make us 60 days. We have made a follow-up to PPRC. Now we realize that PPRC cannot do anything because there is no commissioner to look into our application. So our only option, as we were thinking, was to go to Supreme Court for a registration. So what we are saying as a movement, government should not wait and allow these things to happen. Get people to run the affairs of the commission. That's if, as we mentioned in our press release, had been the PPRC was fully functional, I believe that the letter which was sent by Boubacar Jabi will have been addressed by PPRC.
Now let's go to the SLPP. They have reacted strongly to the decision taken by the court, and that did not go down well with you, as is here on your press release. Don't you think members of the SLPP have just been responding naturally? They wouldn't be happy, would they?
Of course, they have the right not to be happy, but this is a secret institution that we are talking about here. The Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is the highest court in the land. You either agree with the decision or not. You have no right to go out in public chastising the decision of the Supreme Court. It's a contempt. It's a clear contempt. If you have been following up what has been coming out from the SLPP senior cadre, statement like I'll quote, as it's coming from our court today. Statement like this: because we know the judiciary is really not here to protect our interest, and we are worried, and those are the people who may cause chaos in this country in the years to come. They went further by saying that the decision of the court is politically motivated and that they have no confidence in the court. And this is the Supreme Court, for heaven's sake. If you have already bashing the Supreme Court, then what are your options tomorrow? What are your options?
Why do you think they are saying, well, that the Supreme Court is nothing to rely on?
You have no right to say that. This is the highest court all over the world.
If they're not happy about it.
If you're not happy, you're not happy. You settle it internally. But you have no right to go there and discredit a decision that comes from the highest
What do you
court.
think as a party?
As a party,
Or
we
movement?
think, as a movement, we think this is a despicable reaction from the SLPP. We think, we know they might have genuine reason to be aggrieved, but the fact that they have gone further to express their grievances through sending some negative, making negative statements about the Supreme Court, we think it's a recipe for disaster. I want to take you back, Val, in the United States of America, during the time of Bush and Al Gore. This was a sitting government. The hanging charge and the depot charge argument, the election result was so close, was less than 1,000, I think. The Democrats went to court to stop the state governor to announce the result that will see George Bush as president. The Supreme Court ruled against the Democrats. Did they go out there and start to say bad things about the Supreme Court? You don't do that. It's a contempt. It's a contempt. So we are appealing to the SLPP to just abide to the court ruling and to also talk to their supporters.
Is it also not troubling that some of these judges are appointed by the government?
Well, that's what the Constitution says. So we have to go back to the Constitution. This is not a Constitution written by the APC or the SLPP or the PMDC or the UDM. It is in existence, dated far back. If we have a problem with that, then definitely we have to go back to the legislative.
Some people might think you are coming out with this release because you want to popularize your movement that will soon be transformed into a party and continue to undermine the SLPP as you have always done. Not
the latter part of your question. Yes, we want to popularize our movement by making positive contributions to issues that has to do with the survival of this country. To undermine the SLPP, no. This is our obligation as future leaders of tomorrow, that we cannot sit by and allow so-called politicians, for their greed and selfishness, to undermine the state in which we want to take over tomorrow. It's far from that. We are not going to tolerate that. So far from that. We are not undermining the SLPP. We are simply trying to protect the state so that we can have a country to live in.
Hadn't it been your party planning to go to convention on the 5th of March, and all of a sudden there is this bottleneck created by something maybe that had been an oversight, and one of the party members decides to take the rest of the party to court, and the court has just dislodged the party, and in the process, destabilize its plans, how would you have responded?
Well, definitely we'll go back to the drawing board and look at where the problems lie and see if we can address them internally. No amount of bashing to the Supreme Court will help us solve our problems. No amount of name calling of any other political party will help us solve the problems. Not even internal bickering within our party will help us solve the problems. We'll go back to the drawing board, look at where the problems are, and trying to resolve the problem.
And this problem, how do you view it? And this problem within the SLPP, has it been a real problem at all?
Well, I don't want to talk about the problems of the SLPP here.
No, the problem that took them to court. The problem about delegates.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They have their constitution. They have their way of doing their own political activities. So as a leader of another movement, I don't think it's my right to poke my nose into the activities of the SLPP.
It's public knowledge now. It was taken to court and the court has decided, so everybody knows what happened.
Well, that is why we should not debate it, because the court has made a decision that they are wrong. And it rests there.
Do you think they should have done what Bubakar Jabi had wanted them to do, so that they avoid the court, and so that March 5th wouldn't have been wasted as it is going to be now?
Well, let me tell you, in politics, everything you do, you have to look at the interests of the party, not individuals. Bubakar Jabi is right, Bubakar Jabi is wrong. It's not the issue. The issue here is about SLPP. How are you going to forge ahead? So earlier on, you have to sit back and look at the complaints, the issue which have been brought forth by a party member. It is not about the national executive is right or Bubakar Jabi is wrong.
Why are you worried that Supreme Court judges are being bashed? Why are you worried?
Because because they are undermining the democratic process. Look at where we are, Val, 2007. when Madam Top Commissioner for National Electoral Commission was about to announce the result, the SLPP legal team went to the Supreme Court almost to put a stop, an injunction to the announcement of that result. Why don't they go to the streets? Because they believe the Supreme Court is there to interpret the rules. Now let's bring it to the present situation where the SLPP has lost confidence, according to the pronouncement that has been coming from top cadre of the SLPP. Now, come 2012, if they face themselves in a similar situation, what will they do?
Well, a question to be answered later. Thanks very much, Mohamed Bangura, for being here with us.
Thank you very much.
He is the leader of the newly formed United Democratic Movement. They've just issued a press release expressing their worries over the reactions of the Sierra Leone People's Party after the court ruled on an issue that was taken to court, led by Dr. Boubacar Jabi, one of those aspiring to be flag bearers of the SLPP and leading it to elections in 2012. You're watching News Hour. It's coming to you on the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we will be speaking to a member of the Sierra Leone People's Party. Thanks for tuning in. Well, we will continue, and so to take the issue further, with us right now is a member of the Sierra Leone People's Party, one of those aspiring to lead the party into elections in 2012. He is Major Ishmael Sengu Kuruma. Welcome to News Hour, sir.
Well, thank you.
Now, there is a situation. It seems as though after the court ruling a few days ago, senior members of the SLPP have been expressing their dissatisfaction with verbal attacks that doesn't seem to go down well with other political parties, including the newly formed United Democratic Movement, which is yet to transform itself into a political party. How would you react to that? Do you think the members of the SLPP have just been reacting naturally?
Well, that is a natural response from anyone that has had something that goes on the contrary towards your expectations. For the newly developed party, the member of the newly developed party that came up here talking about the bad verbal jabs of the hierarchy of the Sierra Leone People's Party, I think that guy is a young man. He probably doesn't understand what's going on in the political escapade of this country. He has his ambition, and that's good for him, and that's his opinion is good for him. But I believe my own opinion about that party and the young guy that was here. I will use this quotation, this phrase again. It is a wretched mixture of ambition and shamelessness on the part of anyone that thinks the SLPP is making bad rubber jabs on the Supreme Court of this country. Now, I was very, very much not situated well with the Supreme Court's decision. It is the highest court of the land. We have to respect that. But remember, in 2005, Dr. Boubacar Jabi made the same complaint on the SLPP, and one of the judges was present in 2005, who was Tola Thompson. This is my opinion, my own personal opinion. He was present, and he was one of the judges that asked Dr. Boubacar Jabi to take his case out. They let the case go. What cause withholds him now not to do the same thing when it is almost of the same magnitude that Dr. Boubacar Jabi has brought the case? The reason why, to my own opinion, is a change of government. Today, we have the All People's Congress. Yesterday, we had the SLPP. So, it appears to me that the Supreme Court of this country is working on the lines of the ruling party of the APC. And that is wrong for a country, it is shameful for a country, and it is woefully inadequate.